I'm going to say a sentence. Let's see if you can understand. What have you been up to? What have you been up to? When native speakers talk very quickly, they use something called connected speech. Now, connected speech is when sounds disappear, change, or blend together in fast, natural English. For example, going to sounds like gonna. This makes spoken English much smoother and faster. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you all of the different types of connected speech, and this is going to help you to understand fast natural English, and it's also going to help you to improve your speaking skills. So we're going to look at catenation, intrusion, elision, assimilation, germinates, and finally, I'm going to give you a bonus tip to help to improve your speaking skills. So make sure you stick around until the end of the video. All right, so let's start with the first type, which is called catenation. This is when the final consonant sound links to the first vowel sound of the next word. Let me show you an example. So you can see here we've got pick, it. But when a native speaker says this naturally and quickly, they'll simply say pick it, pick it. So that final K sound in pick is a consonant, and the first sound in it is a vowel sound, so those two sounds join together. So one more time, we don't say pick it, we say pick it, pick it. That K and that it sound join together. Let's look at another example. Turn on. But in natural English, natural fast spoken English, we would simply say turn on, turn on, turn on. So you can see that N and that O, they come together, they join together. Now let's look at one final example. Leave it alone. In fast natural English, this becomes leave it alone. Leave it alone. So you can see that the V, that V sound, and the it sound, they join together. Leave it. And then the T sound from it and the first at sound in alone, they also join together. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. So this is one of the simplest ways to improve your speaking skills. Simply join the final consonant sound to the first vowel sound of the next word. Now let's move on to the second type of connected speech, which is intrusion. But before we do that, if you're enjoying this type of lesson, make sure you check out our complete Band 7 Plus IELTS preparation course, because we have a whole section on speaking training, which is going to help you to sound more like a native speaker. The link is in the description. Okay, so intrusion is when we add an extra sound between two words to make them easier to say. So look at this example. We don't say I saw it. No, we add that R sound, an R sound. I saw it. I saw it. This makes it much easier to say I saw it. Let's look at another example. Do it again. This is quite hard to pronounce if we say every single word like this. So we simply add a W between the do and the it. Do it. Do it again. Do it again. It's much easier than saying do it. Do it. Here's another one. She is. We don't say she is. We add a Y sound between she and is. So we say she is. She is. She is a doctor. And one more example, go on. We don't say go on. We add a W sound in the middle to be able to join those two words together. Go on. Go on. Go on a trip. Moving on to the third type now, which is elision. Elision is when a sound is completely dropped or not pronounced at all. So have a look at these two words, next day. As you can see, that's a bit hard to say if we say next day and we really pronounce that T sound. So instead of pronouncing that T sound, we simply drop it. We just say next day. Next day, not next day. Here's another one. Must be. Must be. Well, we simply drop the T. Must be. Must be. He must be a doctor. It's much more easy to pronounce and more natural. Here's another one. Most common. Most common. Well, when we say this one, we don't say the T. We just say most common. Most common. For example, the most common mistake that IELTS students make is not practicing their pronunciation. most common. And one more example, you've probably heard this one before, used to. We don't pronounce that D sound, we drop it, we just say used to. Used to. I used to work at the school down the road. All right, let's move on to the fourth type of connected speech, which is assimilation. Assimilation is when a sound completely changes. So have a look at this. We don't say don't you. No, we join those two words together and we say don't you. Don't you. Don't you like drinking coffee? Here's another one. Meet you. Meet you. As you can see, it's a bit hard to say that, meet you. So we join those two words together and just say meet you. Meet you. It's nice to meet you. Next one, had you. Had you. No, we say had you. Had you. Had you ever been there before? And finally, last example, would you. Would you. No, we simply say would you. Would you? Would you like to go to the beach next week? Now, please note that sometimes the final sound can be pronounced as an sound. So in some accents, we don't say don't chew, we'd say don't cha. Don't cha. We wouldn't say meet you, we'd say meet cha. It's nice to meet ya. Had you, had ya. Would you, would ya. Let's look at type number 5 now, which is called germinates. So when one word ends with the same consonant that starts the next word, only one sound is pronounced. Let me show you an example. So red dress. As you can see, we've got two D sounds next to each other. So we simply just say one of them. Red dress. Red dress. I love your red dress. We don't say I love your red dress because that's harder to say and it doesn't sound very natural. Here's another example. This singer. This singer. We've got two S sounds next to each other, so we simply say one. This singer. This singer. This singer is amazing. Next one. Good day. Good day. We've got two Ds next to each other, so we simply drop one and say one D sound. Good day. Good day. And here's one more final example. Social life. We've got two L sounds together, so we simply say one of those L's. Social life. Social life. How's your social life? Okay, let's look at the bonus tip to improve your pronunciation and sound more natural. And this is also going to help you to understand native speakers as well. So this final tip is that sometimes a T sound can change to a D sound. So for example, when a T sound is in the middle of a word, sometimes it might sound more like a soft D sound. Let me give you an example. Butter. Butter. Well, in an Australian accent, we would say butter. Butter. That T sound changes to a D. Next one, water. Water. Same again, in Australia, we would say water. Water. Can I have a bottle of water, please? Water. Next one, better. 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 Your English is much better. It's easier to pronounce the D sound instead of really saying that T. Listen one more time. Better. 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 The D is just much easier to pronounce. Next one, pretty. 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 She's a pretty girl. And last one, city. City. No, city. Bangkok is an amazing city. And before we finish this video, let me give you one more tip. From now on, when you're watching movies or when you're just listening to native speakers, pay attention to how they speak when they are talking very quickly. So in this lesson, we looked at improving your listening and your pronunciation. If you want to improve your grammar for IELTS, check out this video right here, and I'll see you in the next video.